Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Coloniano D. Welcome back to my Generation XO Factory experience. I hope everyone is doing well. I'm doing well. I finally got my hands on this new Dior SAUVAGE EXTRAIT. Yeah, so when Dior announced SAUVAGE EXTRAIT, I think it's fair to say the fragrance community is somewhat split. Some were expecting an even stronger version of the familiar SAUVAGE DNA, while others wondered if Dior had finally reached the point where the line had nowhere left to go after Elixir. Then they came out with the EXTRAIT. So this is my lineup of SAUVAGE over the years. In the center is the king, which I still think is the king. The 2015 release EDT. Then on the left you have Parfum, which was released back in 2019. I don't have the EDP. I felt there was no reason to get the EDP when I had the EDT. And my EDT is the vintage version, the original. So I figured I'd skip the EDP, and when Parfum came out, I was interested, and I really love Parfum. I love Parfum better than the EDP, which I did test the EDP. And then of course, 2021, the shift came about with Elixir in the way they formulated SAUVAGE, and then a rare blend came out in 2025. I think there were only about 15 crafted in a Baccarat crystal, and it was going in the thousands, and those were in a 350 ml. I haven't heard much about that, that's for sure. And when Dior announced EXTRAIT, the surprise is that Dior didn't simply make SAUVAGE louder. They completely changed the conversation of SAUVAGE. So I've tested this. This is not a first impression. I've been wearing this for the longest time, for about a week and a half. I did get a sample in advance from the salesperson at Dior at the mall, and I got these little neat samples that go with it, which is the Parfum, so let's unbox this. As you can see, you have your SAUVAGE EXTRAIT. So this is not an unboxing first impression. I'm just doing an unboxing because it's an unboxing, and I'm happy to unbox it because I didn't really need to unbox it when I first got it, because I had those samples like I mentioned. So here we go. SAUVAGE. Boom. Let's get a little focus on there. Hey, there we go. EXTRAIT. There's your bottle. Very nice. It's in the same vein as Elixir in the 50 ml. And here we go. Let's give this a spray so I can continue on with my review or talk. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. This is, oh man. 2 sprays. It's all it takes, people. 2 sprays. Now this is a bold departure from the standard SAUVAGE formula. Oh yeah. That we've known for years. The signature ambroxan is still there, along with the lavender and the bergamot, giving you just enough of that recognizable opening. Just a little. Just a little. To remind us where this fragrance comes from. But don't get comfortable with this opening, because after those first few moments, Sauvage Extrait takes a sharp turn into territory this collection has never explored before. Now, you could easily put this in the La Collection. The star of this show is the Vietnamese oud. This isn't the polished, sweet designer fragrance or designer oud that many people may be expecting. It's slightly dirty, smoky, earthy, giving the fragrance a rugged personality that immediately separates it from previous Sauvage releases. It feels mysterious, darker, and much more mature. Now, as this fragrance develops, the patchouli begins to reinforce that earthy richness, while the Virginia cedar and Atlas cedar create layers of dry woods that run from the heart all the way to the dry down. Fantastic. There's vetiver. It adds a green, slightly smoky edge. This is a fragrance that feels like standing in a dense forest after a campfire has burned down. Charred wood, a little dry earth, and a drifting smoke wrapped around the familiar Sauvage backbone. In the beginning here at the top, which I just sprayed, you have that oud right from the start. There's a slight dirtiness. If you're gonna compare, I'm gonna compare this to Elixir more than anything, because Elixir was the departure from the EDT. It started to lean differently. While both fragrances moved away from the fresh shower gel style, you know, the original Sauvage, they do it in completely different ways, where Elixir is built around an incredibly rich blend of spices: lavender, licorice woods, and warm amber. It's dense, it's aromatic, it's bold, and it's refined. Elixir feels regal, polished, almost barbershop type scent with its spicy aromatic profile. That's what you're getting with Elixir. Now, you could say this is a comparison. I'm just using Elixir as a sample. Sauvage Extrait trades those rich spices for smoke, some earth, and the oud. Extrait isn't trying to be warmer or sweeter than Elixir. It's darker. Where Elixir smells impeccably groomed and commanding, Extrait smells rugged, mysterious, and almost primal. There's the difference. Elixir walks in the room wearing a perfectly tailored suit, where Extrait walks in wearing a beautifully worn, say, a leather jacket after spending the evening besides a fire. That's what you're getting from Extrait. If Elixir is sophistication through spices and aromatics, Extrait is sophistication through wood, smoke, and oud. They're not competitors, these two. Don't think one's better than the other. They're not competitors. They're two completely different interpretations of what a darker Sauvage can be. Incredible. What makes Sauvage Extrait so controversial is that it doesn't chase that mass appeal the way the previous Sauvage releases did. The EDT, the EDP, the Parfum, the original Even parfum was designed to be universally pleasing. Some absolutely love Dior's willingness, as I do. They took a risk. They took a risk while others may wonder where their fresh, easy to wear Sauvage went. How much more bold can you be when you have the EDT to EDP and the parfum? Then they kind of switch gears a bit with the Elixir and now the EXTRAIT. Now let's talk about performance. This is exactly what you'd expect from an EXTRAIT concentration. It projects and lasts for hours and develops beautifully over time, revealing more smoke, woods, and earthy nuances as this really settles. As for versatility, this is probably the least versatile out of the whole lineup of Sauvage. EXTRAIT is a fragrance that shines in the fall and the winter. Now it's hot outside. I've worn this outside, and I think I would like it in a cooler environment because I've worn this inside air conditioning and it's really nice. Or, you know, maybe a cool spring, crisp autumn, right? It truly comes alive in cooler temperatures, no doubt, where the smoky woods and oud have room to breathe in cooler temperatures rather than, you know, hot and humid. You could wear this on the cool weather, but I would say maybe a summer evening. You could wear this in the summer, nighttime, little cool breeze, more towards where, you know, maybe early summer, later summer. Definitely not the fragrance I would reach for in the heat or in the beach. When it comes to occasions though, EXTRAIT is perfect for evening wear, upscale dinners, maybe some cocktail parties, formal events, and nights when you want your fragrance to make a statement without shouting. Because this doesn't shout. Now I've worn this to work, casual neat. Despite its darker personality, it's still an approachable fragrance. The oud and smoky woods give it a level of refinement that separates it from the crowd, meaning the EDT, the EDP, even the Elixir. And like I had mentioned, this is not a competition between the Elixir, because I love the Elixir. The Elixir is one of my favorite fragrances out there, period. I'd put Elixir in my top 10 for sure. Now just keep in mind, don't overspray this. You can actually ruin your experience with the fragrance if you overspray it, and especially in a warmer climate. Overall, I think Dior deserves credit for refusing to play it safe. Instead of giving us another variation of the same formula, they introduced something that genuinely expands the Sauvage collection. This isn't a replacement for the classic. I think everyone, this fragrance is, Sauvage has been so polarizing. I think everyone in their own way who won't really openly admit it, they love Sauvage. I love niche fragrances. And even though Sauvage is a designer scent, I put it right up there. I put it right up there with any niche fragrance, especially the EDT at the very beginning. And then they They went into the EDP and the Parfum and the Elixir, now EXTRAIT. So what is next for Sauvage? I'm thinking, being that they formulated this EXTRAIT, they're gonna move into a more gourmand Sauvage. That's my guess. My guess is they're gonna move into a more gourmand Sauvage. And what gives me that idea is that Baccarat, that limited Baccarat edition that they released in 2025. It has the labdanum in there, a little bit of vanilla from what I gather just by looking at some of the reviews. So they may even shift this DNA and move it towards a more gourmand type of DNA, like they did with the La Collections, the vanilla, all that stuff. There's just too many in that line to keep up with. They're all really great fragrances in the La Collection. But that's where I think they're headed with Sauvage. You're gonna see something a little bit more crowd pleasing with some vanilla, maybe some labdanum, maybe some resins in there. That's my take on it. If you're looking for another fresh blue fragrance, this is definitely not what you would have in mind. But if you've ever wished Sauvage had more character, more depth, and a touch of smoky, dirty oud, Sauvage EXTRAIT delivers that exactly. It's easily the boldest and most daring release of this line for sure. And whether you love it or hate it, it's impossible to accuse Dior of playing it safe this time. Francis Kurkdjian, he hit this one right out of the park. This one is a grand slam, that's for sure. And it seems like over the years, because flanker after flanker, Parfum, EDT, that's what people complained about. What else are they gonna release in the same vein, with that same profile? They moved away from it with EXTRAIT. Fantastic job. If I had to sum it up in one sentence, Elixir is the gentleman of the family, while Sauvage EXTRAIT is the bad boy. They're both exceptional, they're both different, but they tell completely different stories. And if you're gonna complain about the price, wait until you can get it on a discount. It's reasonable. Nowadays, the way prices of fragrance has gone up. What can you do, right? I know I didn't pay full retail because I had some points. But that's all I have to say at this point. I wanted to end my review, so I'm gonna end it. You know, we're running on 20 minutes here. I don't want to go too crazy in extending this review. So get your nose on it if you haven't, which I'm sure most of you have. The reviews are piling up, and I think this is one that you should have in your collection, in your fragrance wardrobe, if you're a fan of Sauvage, which I think many are. They won't admit it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Hey, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button if you don't mind. All right, I'll see you next time. Thanks.